Yesterday I was reminded of something I've spoken to about a few times, and that is that you can't hold two thoughts in your head at the same time. You think you can, but you can't. And I was talking to a mentee that said that they've been inundated with media news that's depressing. They're beginning to think about only that subject, and it's really taken a hit on their ability to do this acquisition journey and productivity. So, a couple examples. Think about maybe when you were in college. If you were in college and you're listening to a lecture, you're writing notes down. And you write down a thought from that lecture, you're writing it down, you're thinking about what you're writing. You look up and you've lost the last 15 or 20 seconds or maybe longer. And the psychologist told me that you think you're doing both, but you're not. You're really cycling between the two fast enough that you catch most of it, but you don't catch all of it. An example, which happens a lot more when you get older, you'll be thinking, oh, I got to go into the kitchen and get so-and-so. You'll start to walk in the kitchen, you'll see something, you'll think about that. You'll get to the kitchen and go, okay, what did I come in here for? That one thought, the reason you went there, was replaced by another thought along the way. And it reminded me just how smart social media is with respecting to distracting us. And I want to read some of this, but I saw an article the other day from Greg Gutfeld, who's I don't know what you'd call him, a satirist, a comedian. And so I'm going to read some of this, but it's on this subject exactly. So everybody talks about how bad social media is, and yet everyone uses it. It becomes the modern version of smoking. Yes, I gotta quit, but right now I just can't. That's me. That's him talking about. And I rarely feel better after scrolling through online stuff, and I always tell people to spend less time doing it. Yet here I am at night sneaking a social media puff, and like smoking, it usually makes my blood pressure go up. And then he talked about a new study that finds that avoiding social media platforms for just 1 week significantly improves the person's well-being, reducing both anxiety and depression. And then he talked about a research study where they took a bunch of people and they basically had them do a detox. And just after 1 week without social media, there was a dramatic improvement in the well-being across the board. So why is this important? He writes, well, social media, again, like smoking, is something we do almost without thinking. Sometimes it's the first thing we do in the morning and the last thing we do before sleep and, anytime else during the day. It really has become a 2-pack-a-day habit for many people. But there's more to it than that, he wrote. And it's something overlooked by all researchers. It's that we humans can only focus on one thing at a time. Go ahead, try to hold two thoughts in your head. I'll wait, see, it's impossible. And again, it's the example I gave you with either taking notes in college or walking into a room. Okay? And then this part's important, really important. For example, one day you could be in a great mood, sun shining, work is great, got plans for the weekend, but if you get in a tiff with a spouse, it all disappears, it's gone, and all you think about is that one thing. That's what social media does. It can introduce one disturbing thought that muscles everything else out, and that can ruin your whole day and create sleepless nights. That's true for an awful lot of people. It takes an abstraction, like an insult from a stranger, something you don't even know, that can do that. But that's all it takes. Social media has created a direct faucet of aggressive stimuli that we as humans are not evolved yet to handle. Our brains, and young brains especially, can't tell the difference between that worth thinking about and that which isn't worth thinking about. All you end up doing is thinking about whatever enters your mental crawl space. It's not good. So maybe it's time to take a break, especially if just stopping for 1 week could have such positive benefits. Why don't we try it? I mean, what's the worst that can happen? Absolutely. As an example, I had a mentee that said, first thing I do in the morning is look at my voicemails, look at my emails, basically before I get out of bed. Same thing throughout the day. If the emails go off, if the messenger goes off, I end up looking at it. So what he did was he said, those are all on my homepage. I'm going to take my phone, and he moved emails, messages, voicemails to like the 9th page in his, so he'd have to scroll through all of those to get there. And what he found was that he was only going to schedule certain times to go look at emails. At 10 o'clock in the morning, I'll look at emails or I'll look at voicemails. We all think that we instantly have to respond. And for us older guys and gals, if you go back a few decades, none of us had phones. We had answering machines. And you'd go, you'd do your thing, you'd come back, you'd hit the button, and you'd listen to your messages, and you would reply to those that you wanted to reply to. But it was on your time frame. It wasn't on the device's time frame. And today, and again, all these people are smart that have designed these things, you hear a ding, you hear a like message, you hear a buzz, whatever it is, and you instantly go and look at what that is. The average text message is looked at within 3 seconds, I think it was. So think about that. Think about the fact that you can only hold 2 thoughts at once. Think about what is it that you're letting in. And we all have negative thoughts. I wish we didn't, but we do. They're like weeds in a garden, as Napoleon Hill said. So it'll take discipline, and you'll get better at this. But when those negative thoughts, when those distractions come in, grab them, throw them away, replace them with a more positive thought. And I think you'll find that you'll get better and better at that, and your productivity, your state of mind, your attitude, your focus, all of those things will get better. So if you like these videos that I do once a week, hit the like button, hit the share button. I'd appreciate that. And again, if you go over to brucewhipple.com, there's free material there, there's boot camps, there's free classes, etc., etc. But hit the like, hit the share button, and thank you for doing that. Hope these are helpful. They're intended to be just that, is to give you something that's actionable, that you can put in place, and that'll make a benefit in what you're doing with respect to your acquisition journey.